Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via YouTube streaming and via Skype. We are not today on Facebook because of some suspected activity. This feature is restricted for a while. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, memory, layers of memory, and is love unconditional? Topics like these. It takes a lot of efforts. Effort means in terms of time. I have to find time to write the posts and other things. But what I have found that the posts that I write, people do not have time to read them. They are very busy. I take out time, although I don't need anything. It does not matter whether anybody is evolved or not, yet still I go on sharing various posts and many other things. But it always happens that you will hardly find people have time to read the posts. The first part is various layers of memory. You know, with all these devices, whether it is computer device or your camera or your phone, there comes a memory card, or you can call it memory chip. You can store the photographs and other matter into the chip, and you know how to put into the memory chip or memory card, and how, when need arises, to bring it out from the memory card or chip to the laptop or your smartphone screen. But as far as human mind is concerned, we do not know anything about memory card, memory chip, or if there is anything like that. Memories keep on flooding like tsunami and make you neurologically affected by it. When all those photographs that are stored in your memory card, they come out on the screen, there is no such thing like neurological effect. According to yogic science, there are 8 layers of memory. These are composed of various elements and come into existence through various methods. The first layer is composed of 5 basic elements that constitute your body. Are you not surprised that you plant a seed in the soil? Soil is organically around the seed, and it is the intelligence of the soil's intelligence and seed's memory. The seed carries the memory in it that it is a mango plant, or it is chrysanthemum, or it is rose. The intelligence and memory work together in a particular direction, and you get a beautiful rose plant or a mango tree or coconut tree. The two trees, they maintain their individual memory and use the intelligence of the earth element coupled with the memory of the water, memory of the air, memory of the fire. Fire does not mean the fire that you know about. The fire that burns within and that helps in the process of assimilation. The nourishment comes from the soil, the air, the water comes from the water element, the space, and how these elements are assimilated together to allow the growth of the plant comes from the fire. This has nothing to do with religion or anything. That is why when your body decomposes and you cremate it whichever way you want, the Hindu way, the Christian way, the Zoroastrian way, it finally decomposes into its element and earth comes and it becomes part of this soil. So these are the 5 basic elements that constitute your body. These are earth, water, air, fire, and ether. Even when you are making a bread or a flat bread or Indian bread, you need the flour, which is earth element. To that you add water, and when you knead it and you whisk it, the air element comes into it, makes it light and softer. Then the space, you knead the flour, or if you are making bread, you allow it to prove a space is needed. If you want the ingredient to ferment, it needs a space. Everything in the universe, animate or inanimate, needs a space for its growth. Then you cook on the fire. So what goes into you as your meals? 5 elements: the earth, water, fire, air, ether. 5 elements. So human body is composed of, that is why after decomposition it returns to its various components. These represent the fundamental elements or qualities, or in the modern parlance you can call them softwares, that decode how these elements will interact with one another in total harmony. When you are planting a seed, all the elements, the earth gives its nourishment, provides the space for roots to grow, sustains the roots. Water allows the nourishment to be absorbed and be ready for the capillary of the plant to carry it to its various parts. Air, if you put a plant in a space where there is no air, the plants will not grow. They need sunlight and the space. If the space is not there, the tree will not have its natural growth. And they never say that I will not do this. If these elements belong to different religions, they would have been in conflict with one another because of their philosophies and conditionings. So it is like a software or qualities that decide how these elements, the software decides how these elements will interact with one another in harmony. The next layer of the memory is of material substance, which is contained in the atomic memory. Although in modern parlance, this word atom comes from Greek language because of John Dalton, who it is understood in the world that developed atom or discovered atom. Really, this word has its origin in ancient Sanskrit language where the word Atma is used. In modern terminology, we use the word in computer mouse. Mouse is a creature that is said to be the vehicle of the elephant-headed Hindu god Ganesh, and it moves with a very slow pace. So when mouse is connected to your laptop, it allows the things to move in a certain way. This atomic memory relates to how subatomic particles, atoms, are in turn molecules of various physical substances. Physical substances are made, and how these behave together and constitute what is called inanimate memory. This memory governs the inanimate aspect of life. There is animate aspect and inanimate aspect. The atomic memory governs the inanimate aspect of life. This atomic memory governs the inanimate aspect of the memory. The next type or the layer of memory is animate memory. This is also known as evolutionary memory. It explains how from a single cell amoeba you evolved into the present form. The shape of your hands, eyes, nose evolved to give you a present human form. It was from a creeping stage to walking stage. You look at it, a little replica of this. A child begins its movement from creeping. His eyes do not open. Then slowly and slowly they begin to open. Child makes effort to stand like gorilla, and then trying to make a few steps. very uncontrolled steps. Then slowly and slowly he learns. So the shape of what does shape comprise of? Your hands, eyes, nose, all these evolve to give you a human form. This is animate memory. All this memory is contained in you. You would notice that in dogs we have canny teeth. When someone gets very angry, he grinds his teeth, which is the same exercise as dogs do. The next memory which is related to the evolutionary process, is genetic memory. It is passed on to you from generation to generation by your parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, so on and so forth. This determines the color of your skin, shape of your nose. Sometimes it is said, this person resembles this, your daughter resembles you, so on and so forth. May have some resemblance, but in reality, no two creatures can be same. Something or the other differs. The impressions on the thumb, that is why your name somebody else may have born in the same city where you were born, may have born at the same time, may have the same name, but the tongue, the impressions of the fingers will be different. So when you are going for the United States visa or passport, the finger imprints are taken as authenticity of your identity. Your name, sometimes even when you go and at the immigration, they are checking your passport. They ask you to look into their cameras. Through your eyes, they look at you that this passport belongs to you. The name, the date of birth, the time of birth, the place of birth, all these are confirmed before you are allowed the entry. So this is part of the genetic memory. Skin of the two people, let's say in United States of America, there are different seasons, but the genetic code, the color of the skin of the people of the African descent, the Indian descent, the Chinese descent, and American descent differs from one another. This is the part of the genetic memory which forms the part of DNA. The color of your skin, shape of your nose and such things, however, an awakened one through his awareness can change the code of these memories, and it does happen. Next layer is known as Karmic Layer. It is accumulation of impressions of your past lives. You did yesterday something. You ate something yesterday and your stomach is upset. So it is the outcome of the impressions of the past, yesterday. This plays in so many ways beyond your understanding and imagination. This is an important aspect. It has nothing to do with any religion, caste, creed, or nationality. Yesterday, tomorrow, and today comes in the life of every human being. I am talking about human beings, not of Muslims, Hindus, Christians, or Americans, or Indians. The next three layers are impressions related to your mind and mental body. Mind and mental body. These constitute three layers. If you draw a graph on a piece of paper, two-dimensional, a point which is known as axle ordinate, where the ordinates are 0, 0, one line extends to the right, is known as x-axis. The one that goes vertical is known as y-axis. This forms a right angle. This is positive. If you draw a horizontal line to the left of that point, its ordinate will be negative, minus x. And if a vertical line in the same way is drawn below the 0, 0 ordinate at point, it will have minus y values. So this makes 360 degree. So there are unconscious memory, conscious memory, and subconscious. Unconscious is the major part, which is 9 parts out of 10. Subconscious is below that. So sometimes we do things unconsciously and you say that I do not know how this happened. There are superfluous layer which is known as conscious layer. This you recollect and articulate on a day-to-day basis, whereas the subconscious and unconscious layers of the memory are not in your control. All these layers play upon you according to situations that you encounter on a moment-to-moment basis. Give you an example. Your wife had asked you to do something, and for some reasons you forget. So when you come home, the first thing the wife inquires, did you finish? Did you do that? You said, I did not get a chance to do it. Without a moment's gap, she will start bringing out, saying things, I know you will not do it. This is how you behave. You do not have time for the home and the family and the children. You have time for everyone else. All this is not called for. All it is said that when you say that I did not get a chance, I forgot, and let me just have a cup of tea and I will go and get it. The matter pacified. But no, things start surfacing from the subconscious and unconscious memory. You have been asked to become a member of a group, and you are given a position of a director or a manager or a secretary or anything else. You are in a position to harmonize the activities, the ideas, opinions of all the members of that group or association. But when things do not happen your way, what happens? Your subconscious and unconscious memory brings out in the form of flood all. So when you are asked to be a part of that, it is a process of learning how to create a harmony between. It is not for the others. It is an exercise for you to create a harmony between your three layers, that layers or impressions related to your mind and mental body, the unconscious layer, the conscious layer, and the subconscious layer. When you know how to interact, how to create an harmony, you are a balanced person. You want to know what is the spiritual process for transformation. Where would you go to stay on the mountain where there is no one to interact with? And you think when you come back from there that you have attained to peace of mind, harmony. The moment an adverse situation comes, unwantedly things surface from your unconscious memory chip, conscious or subconscious memory chip, that happens on a day-to-day basis. These 8 layers of memory constitute you. If you understand these and you work on yourself, your process of transformation continues. As such, you are a body-mind mechanism which is aggregate of infinite outside influences in the form of memory that are stored in the memory chip. Infinite, in a way we can say, as the religious, in the religious jargon the word is used, really infinite entities as influences are living through you. Again and again, say, my mother said so, my grandmother said so, my father said so. These do not exist in physical form. And we feel very proud that we are talking about, we give credit to our parents. Where it is necessary, you give. I mention it at times that in the art of culinary cooking, the basic training was given to me by my grandmother. We did not have the smart devices to write the notes. And first thing I was told that memorize every recipe. Do not need to write. But in the West, when we come to a cooking class, we come with a book, notebook and a pen, and we want to write everything. When the things are in the memory and you know how to bring it out of the memory chip, that is the first step. Although it was in the field of culinary, but the seeds that she's shown in me relates to every aspect of human life. Their credit is necessary to be given. When it is necessary, not just like that I go on blowing the trumpet. No. How it was put into the memory chip is important. You do not go that, you know that process. Use that process of putting the things in the memory chip and learn the art of bringing it out. if I had simply learned whatever was put into my memory, whatever I was told, I did not grow up and develop it, I would have forgotten. But I know how to put into the memory chip, how to bring it out onto the screen when the time arises. So you are accumulation of various memories and softwares installed in your body-mind mechanism. The evolutionary memory functions in its own way, the unconscious memory, the subconscious memory, the conscious memory, the genetic memory, all these functions in one way or the other. And when you are growing in the process of transformation, as such as you are, you are bound by memories. In order to do something, you need to bring out the images from the memory chip, use them in various forms. You have not yet learned to live beyond the memory. Memory means the past, the influences of the others. These are outside influences, and we live with that. Self-created means which has no ancestry, who is not born, who is eternal, never born, never died. This is one aspect of you. You are completely oblivious of you. You are only aware of the memory aspect, and that too to some extent. Your body and mind mechanism was formed by the interaction of ovum and sperm. When for the first time you opened your eyes, you got baffled to see the creation outside. What did you do? You leaned towards your mother and you ask how all these things are created. Had no answer. When you come to a master and ask how all these things are created, nobody is creating it and yet it still is happening. There is no one who is allowing the tree to blossom, the seed to burst, the sprout to come out, the sprout to become a plant to give the fruits and flowers and so. Who is doing that? To you it seems to be a humongous task. So that means there has to be a humongous person sitting somewhere, old man with a grey beard just like me. I'm sitting here with a grey beard, I fulfill your criteria. Doing the humongous task, we gave him the name of the Creator. But it is the super intelligence that does everything. It is the intelligence of the earth that is not contaminated by any external affairs. It gives its nourishment. Even if you do not give the nourishment to it, the soil gives the nourishment to the plant. The water gives its, through the water molecules, it allows the nourishment to dissolve, because the nourishment in its solid form cannot reach the plant. Plant has a capillary system through which the water goes up against the gravitational force. Have you observed that? The plant, the capillary system of the plant sucks the nourishment from the earth below and carries it up to the top of the tree. Is it not a great intelligence? Is it not how the earth element shares its nutritional value with the plant and for that matter with everything else. How does the food that is digested into the stomach and it reaches through a capillary system? You are the wonder of the creation. You are the super intelligence. Have you known anything about you? You are interested in knowing what is written in my book, what is written in my scriptures. The earth gives equal opportunity to everything that is there planted in its womb. Be it a flower, be it a plant, be it anything else. And as a human being, you have not fully learned to use the thoughts and emotions wisely. These are the nourishments. What will you call such a person who is incapable to use his fingers? You will call him handicapped. Then what about the one who has not learned how to use thoughts and emotions wisely as nourishment? This was the memory part. I have heard there were 7 friends. Ego is the cause of death of love. Subtitle. There were 7 friends who lived together on an island. They were friends. Occasionally they will have a brawl. They will quarrel with one another. You know what is the name of those friends? Lust, anger, greed, attachment, jealousy, love, and ego. These were the 7 friends living on an island. One day there was a storm in this sea. There was every possibility of the island to be drowned. All these friends started running here and there in order to protect themselves. But love was the most intelligent of the 7. In order to save them, he made a boat. When the boat was ready, love asked everyone to quickly enter the boat. Love looked at everyone very lovingly. All the friends came into the boat. Love looked at and he found that ego has not come in as yet. So he went in search of ego and he found that ego was hiding under the boat. He tried to bring that friend, ego, into the boat, but he refused. He said, I will not go into that boat with those kind of fellas. I don't like them. I don't like lust. I don't like anger. I don't like all of them. And I cannot come into the boat with those friends. The storm was raging. All the friends called love come. The storm is getting stronger and stronger. Certainly the island will drown and everyone will drown in the water. Rush up. But love said, I am trying to bring ego into the boat. If the storm becomes stronger, you all sail. I will not come into the boat unless I convince ego to bring it. Love answered from below. But ego has its own very obstinate, stubborn. Because of that stubbornness, ego was not agreeing, and it did not move an inch from its place. Again, the message came from all the friends: let go, leave ego. He has always been very stubborn from the very beginning. Love showed some consideration and said, soon I will convince ego, and I will come only when I can convince ego. Same time, the storm became very strong. All the other friends, the feelings remain alive, and because of the ego sense, love died. This is true. This is the experience of each one of us. Always remember that you have, when you sacrifice, when you work for ego, love cannot exist together. This is an important story that you must remember always. You want to know what is unconditional love. I will just give a prelude and continue this in tomorrow's. We say that love is unconditional. First of all, tell me what is unconditional. What does it mean by unconditional? Something to which no conditions are attached. Is there anything, forget love? Is there anything in life that is unconditional? Even when you are making love to your wife, it is not unconditional. If every time you make love to your wife and she does not get the fulfillment or orgasm, will she engage in the act unconditionally? Conditions are always attached to everything around you. There are always conditions. There can be reasonable conditions or unreasonable conditions, that is a different matter. But conditions are always attached. That is the only way you can distinguish what is reasonable in varying degrees for you, and certainly will not be so for someone else. So the friction arises. You joined, you agreed to head a certain institution, but you put the conditions. When you became agreed to marry, according to Islamic traditions, certain conditions are there. When you become the president of a particular community group, were there not conditions? Was this unconditional? Your joining that was unconditional. Indeed, human transactions, all of them are there for various needs. To learn together, you form one kind of association. To grow for the benefit of everyone, you form an association so that you can bargain with the authorities for better road facilities. whether better living conditions, to learn together. You form one kind of association. Maybe two persons sit in the library and discuss the subject matter. Associations are part of that. Husband-wife relationship is an association with good intentions to help one another to grow, to give fulfillment to one another. If one person does not get the fulfillment, will that association continue? And you want to know if love is unconditional. Only this much for this morning. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day. We will continue this. You want to know what is unconditional love and topics like these as part of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra. Take care. Do have a pleasant day.